Andretti Global has opened up a new facility at Silverstone Park in the United Kingdom. Now, despite F1's unwillingness to give Andretti the green light, the team continues to move forward in hopes that they'll be finally approved to join the F1 grid. Now, in the team's press release, Andretti said having a European base is a great way to attract the best talent in F1 and install state-of-the-art machinery. Now, in an article written by Adam Cooper from Autosport, the team owner, Michael Andretti, said the facility in Silverstone will mainly be for F1, but hopes to add Formula 3 and Formula 2 to its program, along with moving its Formula E team from Banbury as a WEC sports car team is under consideration too. The links to all of this is in the video description. Now, additionally, Andretti plans to use his ambitious plans in Europe to help make it easier for American drivers on the road to F1. So they're treated fairly during the development, and the photo courtesy there of Andretti Global. Certainly, the one thing you can say is that Logan Sargent has done the European route and got to Formula One as a thanks to that by going through Euro Formula into Formula 3, into Formula 2, then now into Formula 1. So is Michael Andretti doing the smart thing by getting ahead of the curve with this new UK-based facility? Or are you afraid that he's going to end up making the huge investment only for F1 to put the final nail in this coffin?
Josh, this could go two ways. It could go really good or really bad if Michael Andretti basically forces his way into Formula One, which it seems like is exactly what he's trying to do. He's going to look really smart by getting ahead of the curve here. And if Formula One, keeps saying no, 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 and then once you get the official final decision that you're never, ever going to be welcomed into Formula One, then it's going to look, kind of silly that you invested millions of dollars all for nothing. In a way, it really seems like this, when you look at this whole situation, it's like Michael Andretti was not invited to the party. And Michael Andretti says, I'm not invited, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to invite myself to the party. And that's really what it seemed like he's doing here. And to show how committed he is to Formula One, to set up this nice looking European base like this at Silverstone, it shows that he truly wants to be here. And I think as he continues to build this program with Andretti Global Cadillac to try to get into Formula One, it's going to be very hard for Formula One to very hard. I know they've already said no before, but Michael, he's still pushing. I think he's going to fight until the very end, regardless of how hard it is. Formula One could tell him no a second time, a third time, a fourth time. And I think Michael Andretti is going to continue to keep trying to get into Formula One. And I still don't understand why the F1 teams think Andretti will not add value to the sport. Bringing a new Formula 3 team and Formula 2 team along with the new Formula 1 team to the sport, I think that's a great thing. I know some of the teams may not be happy because it means it will mean like less cut of the pie for them, but still, I believe that the Andretti brand would bring a lot of value to Formula One, just like the Prima brand is going to bring a lot of value to IndyCar. But yeah, Michael Andretti is really pushing hard. This is exactly what he wants to do. He's committed to his vision. He's determined to get into Formula One, hell or high water. He is going to get there one way or another, and he's not going to accept all of these Formula One teams telling him no. He's basically going to try to force his way in. And I guess the question is, will he be able to do that?
To use your party analogy, Kobe, he previously stood outside the party with a megaphone shouting, "Please, can I come in?" And they told him no. Now what he's trying to do is back up the big lorry with all the speakers on the back and blast the music into the party. Look, I'm here. This is what I've got to bring to you. And he's making them have a hard job to say no. I wish they told me that this was being announced today, because I was only down the road and I was quite quiet at work today. If I just got in the car and drove to Silverstone, I could have seen all this going on. Good, excellent. Love to see this. And if they can get the F2 and F3 entries going, then, that again forges another pathway. And then you'll have the American kids that want to come to F1 that don't potentially have the opportunity coming out of the Road to Indy ladder or below, having this shot. I've got a funny feeling if this all goes to plan, we may see a young Master Weldon in an F3 or F2 car in the years to come. More on him later. But again, more positive Andretti stuff, and to have Michael and Mario there today to front this again just shows their just forging through with this plan to get themselves into Formula One racing. What can Liberty or the FIA or FOM do at this point? They can't just stop them. At some point, they will get there. It just, hopefully, it's a shorter timescale than a longer one.
Two things I've heard today. I'm taking my glasses off so I can be serious with you. Come closer, people. One was from Josh T when we were covering this in the IndyCar commentary. Now, he said, isn't it a coincidence that today we've been hearing rumours that Alpine are going to sell their F1 team, and all of a sudden Andretti now have a base about 10 minutes away? And they want F2 and F3? Oh, is that because Alpine are also going to pull out of their support categories where they sponsor drivers there? So is this more of a, if I can't come in, I'm going to bribe the bouncer and come in more? I've got this feeling that Josh T's onto something here, that he's going to buy Alpine, take over the entry, and then he's in Formula One and they can't do anything about it. So it's he's come through the back door, basically. They'll buy Alpine, create driver academy in F3 and F2, hopefully. Yep. See, this is what he said on the open test coverage today. Second thing I heard, which I think Josh T's got it right. Look, that facility may help with Formula E maybe as well if what happens with the London E-Prix is true. Yeah, because the London E-Prix, Kobe, stop me if you're saying this later.
I am.
I want to make sure if you're not about Formula E in London. You are, Matt. Okay. All right. I won't talk about it. We'll save that for later. But yeah. All right. I just didn't want to step on any toes in the script. And I know there's a bit of a lag here. So, okay. I won't say that. But here's the other thing I heard today is that this is all fake. FOM said yes, but part of the condition is to build up the hype for both American team and American driver is what's better, an American underdog story. FOM lie and say, no, you can't come in. You're in, but you're in 27. Don't tell anyone. You're in. Just pretend for a while. So that's why you're seeing all this coming through to drum up publicity until finally they say, fine, you can come in. But in reality, they've said yes, and that's why all the developments are going on. So I don't know which one to believe. It's a very F1 thing to do and say, yeah, you're in, but let's pretend and let's be evil and get all this around. So what do you think?
I like the Alpine. I saw the Alpine story this morning as well. And remember when the no was given, the day after we had the bombshell of Lewis Hamilton movie. Just to move the story along, forget that. Oh, sorry, I just almost knocked everything off the side of the couch here. Forget that. We're going to talk about this now. Now we've got the Alpine thing going on, and what a terrible start to the season they've had. And you know, this more likely. We talked about it potentially. You know, well, maybe he'll buy Gene out at Haas. If it's going to be one or the other, I think it's more likely to be Renault Alpine than Haas at this stage. I like Josh T's and train of thought there, and I think it all lines up quite nicely, frankly.
Yeah, definitely. I think that will work out best for Andretti if they're able to, buy into F1 with Alpine, because if they buy in like that, like, hey, you don't need an 11th team. We can just become the new 10th team, and then we're already on the grid and we don't have to worry, by jumping through all these hoops and all of that. And then there will be nothing that Formula One can do, and Andretti will be there, and they'll be here to stay for quite a long time. And now I'm going to catch up on some more comments in the chat before we move on. Ben Snyder, as you see right there on the screen, says their work continues at pace, and got Charles fans saying also Formula E are planning on changing the London E-Prix to Silverstone, aren't they? That's a question for you, Josh.
Yeah, I've just caught up with the lag. Yes, Formula E planning to move from London to Silverstone, but as I'm sure Mark might talk about that later as well, Silverstone is likely, but not on the full circuit. But London was never permanent at the Excel Centre. That was always a temporary solution after they got kicked out of Battersea.
Yeah, and Astro Police says all or nothing for Andretti. Yeah, that's what it seems like, unless what you heard, Josh, is true, and that they're just trying to hype this up to be this major American underdog story. for drama purposes and future seasons of Drive to Survive. Honestly, the way Hollywood is these days, it would not surprise me if that's the case. But based on what we know publicly right now, Andretti's been denied, and Michael Andretti is taking this all or nothing approach. Go big or go home. And Michael Andretti is definitely going big, and he's going to make it really hard for Formula One to send him home and be like, no, you're not allowed. And Josh T says that it outraged by the fans if that ends up happening. I assume you're talking about, Formula One continuing to block Andretti, considering all of the millions of dollars that Michael is investing into the sport. And Josh T also says moving into F1's back garden is powerful, making it harder for F1 to say no. Totally agree with that. And Charles Fan says, screw F1 for denying Andretti. I need an American team to support. I already get bullied for supporting Haas. and then another comment here from Charles Fence, and so will there be 33 F3 cars, or will a team make room? Because Alpine don't have a team; they just sponsor drivers in teams like ART. What do you guys think of that?
I think if the right amount of money came along, there'll be a couple of teams in Formula 3 that will go, yes, please, we'll take the cash, and give Michael the entry. Another point to that Andretti building at Silverstone. Guess who's literally a stone's throw across the road? Oh, yes, Aston Martin, another Formula One team. Hello, we're here. We're not going away too quickly. With the new factory that's about to be open for AM.
It was Aston who denied. It was Aston who denied them as well. That's the funny thing as well. And it's like, okay, get involved there. There is a bit of lag, so sorry about that, everyone.
Yeah, and as for Blue says, that's a nice thought, Josh. And Josh T says, it's serious when the glasses are off. Yeah, and then Josh T also has a Mercedes not far away as well. Yeah, that's true.
And Red Bull, the carbon fiber triangle. All within a stone's throw of each other. It's great living in this part of the world sometimes. What's Josh got now? He's got something else serious. Hold on.
Live shots of Michael Andretti just peeping over. Yeah, live over from Andretti, just peeping over the curtain, just making sure that everything's okay, just spying on all the teams and making sure that they know they're there. This is literally the same tactic that Bernie did when he wanted to get Formula One in the 80s. Talking about Bernie beforehand when we came on air. Oh, honestly. Have we caught up with the chat?
Play out.
Yeah, we've caught up with the chat. It's been a busy chat tonight, so I want to thank everybody for sticking around for nearly an hour. It's been a fun night of talking about motorsports, all these different stories, from Prima joining IndyCar, adding value to IndyCar, to Andretti trying to go to Formula One and add value to Formula One, and then the Brody Kostecki saga that continues to go on and on and on.